Buckle up, Disney, because you went too far this time, and I'm gonna rip you a new one. Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. I'm pretty hard on Disney most of the time, and that's because I used to love Disney. I was one of the biggest Disney supporters you could find, but I don't believe in blind fanaticism. I believe it's alright to take a long, hard look at the things that you like and admit when they've strayed. But as much as I've loved Disney in the past, as much as I admire Walt Disney as a visionary creator, there's something and someone that I've always held head and shoulders above the House of Mouse and its creator. That's the Muppets and Jim Henson. Have you ever been asked that question, if you could meet any famous person, living or dead, who would it be? Have you ever had to think about that answer for more than 3 seconds? Not me, because since I was a child, I've had one and only one answer to such a query. Glom gold! Glom gold! Glom gold! Glom gold! Jim Henson. I don't know if you're able to tell, but he's had a pretty substantial impact on my life and my body of work. It's subtle, I know. Simply put, I believe Jim Henson is a visionary, a genius, a true once-in-a-lifetime mind that left us entirely too soon. And I always correct people when they say that Jim Henson was a puppeteer. While technically that is correct, it's only part of the story. Because while Jim famously called himself a puppeteer in a clip that gets sent around a lot, it's probably the last thing he'd have classified himself as privately. Because Jim Henson was, first and foremost, an experimental filmmaker who was constantly thinking 5 steps ahead of everybody else.
Hey, listen, it's wonderful to see you guys, but how did you ever find us?
Oh, easy. We just read the screenplay you left us. Exterior Desert Night.
His contributions to film are incalculable. No one ever told Jim Henson how to do something. They simply told him what needed to happen, and then he figured it out. For example, you know the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? You know who figured out how to bring the Turtles to live action? Jim Henson. Man, the Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, and so many amazingly creative segments on The Muppet Show all came from Henson's mind. Someone like that should be celebrated and remembered forever. Their final work, their masterpiece, should be considered a treasured historical landmark to be displayed until the end of time. And Disney's tearing it down for Monsters Freaking Incorporated. I'm gonna get all sorts of pissed off today on Tooneytown TV. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This was a rough one to write from that place, Disney, to destroy the Muppets for Monsters Incorporated. Josh D'Amaro will bulldoze Jim Henson's legacy with destruction of MuppetVision 3D. This is written by myself, Marvin Montanero, over at That Park Place, where I am the editor-in-chief. Now, guys, this was a hard one to write, because as I said in the intro, Jim Henson is my personal hero. This felt to me akin to Lois Lane having to write the Daily Planet story on the day Superman died fighting Doomsday. But, yep, I had to do it. It's my job. So here we are.
Ha! Gay!
The worst case scenario has become reality. Disney announced today that it will destroy the classic Muppets and MuppetVision 3D in Disney's Hollywood Studios to make way for a new Monsters Incorporated land and attraction.
Fools! Idiots! Imbeciles!
The company also announced that the modded Muppets, led horrifically by Matt Vogel as Kermit the Frog, will replace Aerosmith in Rock and Roller Coasters. So just so many iconic Disney's MGM Studios elements being wiped off the map in one fell swoop, all to make way for modern Disney, all to make way for Monsters Incorporated, a franchise that was anyone clamoring for more of that, especially in the parks? Like, I understand wanting another roller coaster, but I don't understand why this was put into place. Like, why here? Why? We're going to get into why this is the most ridiculous thing they've ever done in just a second. So the announcement dropped this morning on the Disney Parks blog, with company writers doing their best to pretend that this is somehow good news. And this is the thing that Disney does that I hate more than anything else. And I get they have to do it because, you know, it's corporate speak, and they have to make sure that they're constantly playing off everything they do as a positive. But Disney likes to pretend that the terrible things that it does something that you actually want. So, you know, they'll be like, oh, yeah, we're not picking up at the airport for free anymore because we know that you want to decide how you get to your resort hotel. Never mind the fact that you were able to just, you know, do something else. Nobody was forcing you onto that bus, Josh. But anyway, I digress. Building off the existing Disney says here, quote, building off the existing announcements from last summer's D23, the ultimate Disney fan event, the new land will include the coaster we've all dreamed of. Who has dreamed of this? Who? Who has dreamed of this roller coaster? Not me. Not anyone that I know personally. An inverted roller coaster, yeah, that sounds cool. But then you look at the actual diagram that they did of what the track is going to look like, and it is the most mundane, generic roller coaster you've ever seen in your life. A suspended ride recreating the door vault scene, plus dining and shopping, and a whole new theater show. Now, the theater show, by the way, if that sounds familiar, a Monsters Incorporated theater show, maybe because we already have one. It's in the Magic Kingdom. It's called the Monsters Incorporated Laugh Floor, and nobody goes to it. It features live performers working through animated figures, and they do improv comedy, and it's never funny. To make way for the monsters, Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and more of their friends will be moving right along. How dare you use our own words against us? Moving right along is sacred. Son of a bitch! To Sunset Boulevard. But there's more to the story. The Muppets will be taking over Rockin' Roller Coaster, teaming up with some of music's biggest stars for a Rockin' Music Festival. Okay, so that means we are getting this overlay of Rockin' Roller Coaster. It's going to remove Smith, which is a thing we've heard they've wanted to do for a while now. Replace him with the Electric Mayhem and the rest of the Muppet modern music's biggest stars. Like, what, we going to have Lizzo in there? We're going to have all Diddy's friends? Yeah, let's watch Matt Vogel be Kermit the Frog alongside all Diddy's friends, and that's somehow going to be worth losing the final work of Jim Henson. The Pox blog also shared a look at the concept art for the new location, complete with a takeover of the Muppet Theater.
I am assuming direct control.
So there you see right down here, this is the Muppet Theater. It's being made into a Monsters Incorporated theater, which is absolutely preposterous, guys. I don't believe that they're doing this, because take a look. Where the roller coaster is being built, see this back here, this big building? That's the roller coaster. Now, that's being built in land that's not currently being used for anything. The Muppet Courtyard ends right around here at the base of the gift shop back here, right around where Mama Melrose's is. They're building it on new land, which means this could have just been built without all this nonsense. We could have kept Pizza Rizzo. We could have kept MuppetVision. We could have kept the Santa Claus meet and greet over here. We could have kept everything on Grand Avenue in the Muppet Courtyard and just built this one thing back here. But because Disney is filling their pants at the mere thought of anything Universal does right now, everything has to be a themed land, which is utterly ridiculous. Not everything needs to be a themed land. Bring back the Fantasyland model where you walk through and, hey, look, there's the Little Mermaid, there's Snow White, there's Peter Pan, there's It's a Small World, there's Winnie the Pooh. You don't need a Winnie the Pooh land to have a Winnie the Pooh ride. But apparently in modern Disney, if you're going to make a new ride about anything, it has to have a fully themed IP-driven land. Whereas back in the day, all you needed was the ride and the gift shop. That's all anyone wanted. It's all anybody needed. Star Wars, for instance, lends itself to having an immersive themed land. Now, Disney fumbled the ball spectacularly with their themed Star Wars land, anchoring it being The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, giving us a Star Wars theme park land that can never feature Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, or Darth Vader. But it's still an IP that would lend itself to it. You know, concept, I guess, being better than execution in this instance. Then, of course, you've got Harry Potter, which is the themed land to end all themed lands. That is why Disney does this now. Now, MuppetVision 3D is the final project worked on by Jim Henson before his untimely death in 1990. It's the last time he played the role of Kermit the Frog. MuppetVision 3D is, simply put, the legacy of Jim Henson. It is a trip into the Muppet Theater where guests can gape up at Statler and Waldorf heckling the show. It features one of the very best pre-show staging areas in all of Disney parks, put together painstakingly by Disney Imagineers back when that was a sign of excellence. And Henson Creatives. Now Disney Imagineers are just meh engineers. But none of that matters to Disney's Experience's head honcho, Josh D'Amaro, who seems all too happy to spit on the ashes of Henson's final work, despite there being a large empty space just across the park in the animation courtyard. The space currently features the Star Wars launch bay, a useless area that displays replica ships from the Star Wars films and features 2 character meet and greet locations that could be easily relocated. It also has the Disney Junior Live on Stage Theater, which has sat empty for years since the show's cancellation. Space is now reserved for dance parties. A former Disney animator recently let it slip that Disney was planning on using the animation courtyard for the monsters, but that information was either false or Disney changed its mind. We're just working. We're just working to soothe the egos and the minds of the Disney executives, and who cares about the paying customer, right? They're just gonna keep coming no matter what slop we keep slooping onto their plates. Now, a lot of people think that they're gonna take MuppetVision 3D and they're gonna move it into some new theater space. Now, while I would love that, I would love if they would actually take the effort to do that, even though it's completely unnecessary, because you could have just kept it where it was. They're not going to do that, guys. Whatever MuppetVision 3D's next act is, I guarantee you it's not going to cost the Disney company a penny. They're going to take the 3D movie and they'll put it up on Disney Plus. That's going to be MuppetVision 3D's next act. You're going to be able to watch it on Disney Plus at home, not in the Muppet Theater, not with Statler and Waldorf, not with Bean Bunny, not with Sweetums walking in, not with the Orchestra of Penguins. It's not going to happen. They are just going to completely eviscerate this final project. It's ugh, I hate it so much. Guys. If you can't tell, I'm super passionate about this. I am, I'm watching on a personal note, when I was a kid, when I first saw MuppetVision 3D, it was like, it's a core memory for me, right? I mean, it is, my dad loves the Muppets too. And when we walked into that theater together for the first time, we were blown away by it. It was all I could think about. It was the thing that kept me wanting to go back to Disney World, was to go back to that theater, to go back to that attraction, back to that show, back to reliving all of that magic with Kermit and the gang. And now it's gone. And now other little kids who might get into the Muppets someday, and I know they're not the powerhouse they once were. I know that it's an IP that's kind of on the way out, but it's not, it's a people eater. It didn't take up much space. There was no reason to not leave it there, especially because it's a piece of cinema history. The last great work of a great man, of a great visionary, of a genius, the likes of which we will probably never see again in our lifetime. And it's gone for Monsters Incorporated, for a second Monsters Incorporated laugh floor, where there's an empty space sitting across the park, but we don't touch that because a bunch of froofy executives sitting up in their ivory tower don't want to move their stupid offices. Let me know what you guys think. Am I overreacting? I normally say I'm not so steadfast in my beliefs that a well-reasoned argument cannot sway my decision. However, when it comes to this situation here, it's going to take a very well-reasoned argument to get me to budge on this one. But sound off in the comment section below, guys. Let me know your thoughts. I want to hear them. Sound off and let me know.
To say that I'm utterly disgusted with the Walt Disney Company would be an extreme understatement. These talentless, feckless, vapid, soulless, money-grubbing, short-sighted butcher hacks who couldn't hold Jim Henson's snot rag on his worst day are making the decision to take a piece of living history that Jim's fans could enjoy for years and destroy it because they're panicked over Epic Universe.
Fools! All of you!
And make no mistake, that's why this is happening. Disney likes to play it off like they're not concerned in any way about what Universal's cooking up with Epic Universe. But you guys have seen the same previews that I've seen. Bob Iger is filling his depends at the mere thought of what the Peacock is cooking up down the street. And this smirking snake wearing a skin suit is the only thing standing in Universal's way. This fake tan having, veneer flashing, hair plug combing, artificial intelligence on low power creation of what a big company executive should be. This pop culture arsonist who takes a flamethrower to his own company's legacy every time he opens his ridiculous mouth. This rancid coward who knew damn well where this new ride was going when he made the announcement, but held back from actually saying it himself because he wanted all the applause and none of the blowback. And by the way, since this announcement, he's been hiding under his desk all week like the spineless jellyfish he truly is. Josh D'Amaro, I'm convinced, is divine punishment sent from on high in response to the sins of man. He's so clueless, so utterly inept, so entirely incapable of executing the duties of his office that such sheer incompetence has to be created by the divine. Because it's perfect incompetence, flawless incompetence, a level of incompetence unmatched throughout human history. If a normally incompetent person tried to fail as hard as Josh D'Amaro does, then they might accidentally create some kind of saving grace. But Josh D'Amaro is the true emperor with no clothes when it comes to Disney parks. Everything running smoothly today was implemented before Josh took the job, and everything he's rolled out since has been a monumental failure. This is the man who started Genie Plus, the guy who took away Magical Express, the jackass who closed Splash Mountain, the mental midget who oversaw the creation of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the artard who decided to fill in the rivers of America, and yes, the man who dug the grave of Jim Henson's legacy. Screw you, Disney. Seriously, screw you. I've put up with a lot from you over the years as you continue to press your incompetent butt cheeks against the glass wall of Walt's legacy and smear your rancid feces all over it, but this cultural vandalism takes the cake. Though should I really be surprised? You take a lit match to the legacy of your own company's founder on a daily basis. Why should you care what Jim Henson did or accomplished?
I don't care.
And now to replace Jim Henson as Kermit, we get Matt freaking Vogel taking over Rock and Roller Coaster and a Monsters Incorporated themed land that absolutely no one asked for.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
And I guess by Disney's logic, as a monster, I'm supposed to feel seen and validated now that we're getting more monster representation in the parks. But I'm a monster second, and a Muppet first. Thanks for joining us today, and special thanks goes out to our Tooneytown TV channel members. You guys are the heart and soul of this operation, and for that, you get exclusive content like our members-only live stream on its new date and time, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. You also get early access to all Tooneytown TV videos, including this one. So if you're not a member of the Tooneytown TV channel, join today. And I hope you'll all join me and the gang on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. for Tooney Talk TV, our live stream pop culture podcast. You can interact with us directly and make your voice heard as a part of the Tooneytown community. If you liked what you saw here today, please like, share, and subscribe. Click that bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. From all of us here at the Tooneytown channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!